My name's Hema Baliwal. I work for Mahalo Career Services. Just so you guys know who we are and what we do within the college, we're the career center located within the College of Business. So what we do is we provide students with career advice ranging anything from, I'm kind of thinking about maybe majoring in this, but I'm not sure what type of careers are out there, to I have an interview tomorrow and I need someone to review my resume and practice my mock interview skills. So we do that both in our one-on-one advising sessions as well as workshops that we put on. And the third component of what we do is employer relations, which is my role. And a lot of what I do is help bring employers to campus so they can interact with you can interact with them, and you get to know what career opportunities are out there. And we also partner with various departments within the college, such as the Center for Insurance Studies, to host events such as these and panel events like that. So definitely check us out. We're just downstairs in 1409. Feel free to pop in to visit, grab one of our flyers, but just wanted to let you know that we have this resource available for you. So definitely use that. That's my pitch, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna have each panelist kind of introduce themselves. I've got a list of questions that kind of range in the general area of what students typically want to know about resumes, hiring outlook, career path, those types of things. If at any point you do have questions, feel free to raise your hand. When I host panels, the intent is just to be very interactive. Not a lot of formality, just really having an opportunity for the panelists to talk about their organizations and their background, and then have the opportunity for you all to ask questions as well. Sounds like a plan?
Yes.
All right.
Great.
So Carly, do you want to start? Basically just overview of your background, what you did in school, what your career path has been since then, and what you're currently doing right now.
Okay, perfect. So my name is Carly. I graduated from Florida State with a degree in risk management and insurance, and I went straight into claims after graduating, and I handled personal lines claims for about 3 years, and then had the opportunity with the insurance company that I worked for to help out with their college recruiting. After that, I relocated from the East Coast here to California and decided to explore that recruiting career. I did IT recruiting, and then got a chance to get back into the insurance industry here at the Auto Club. So I handle all of our college recruiting, hiring for our insurance positions like claims, customer service, underwriting, and then as well as some of the other positions in other departments like finance, marketing, and sales.
Hi, I'm Dana Taylor from Mercury Insurance. A little bit about me. I graduated from Chapman University, actually with a degree in liberal studies. I was going to be a school teacher, but it just didn't work out that way. I decided I didn't really like kids, so. Yeah, it was kind of a prerequisite for that job, so I went a different direction. When I graduated, much like right now, there was a big recession. There had been kind of the drop in the big Boeing jobs and things like that, so the market was flooded with really, really smart people. Engineers and things like that. So it was difficult to find a job, and I was working at Knott's Berry Farm, and it was moved into human resources, which tends to be my calling. And I got my first break by hiring for the Halloween Haunt. You guys have heard about that, it's going on right now. And I hired monsters, so that's how I got into human resources. So,
Sounds exactly right.
Yeah, it's funny how things fall in. You don't realize that there are opportunities when they happen, and they turn out to be really great things. Worked there for several years. And then was laid off when the company was bought out back in '98, and went to Mercury Insurance and actually started as a claims adjuster. So I worked in claims for a year, and then I moved into their human resources. Right now I'm a business partner with the claims division. So I partner with the business and with the employees and with the leaders, and help them, guide them with decisions within the industry and within their department on the best places to go and how to make the right decisions for what companies looking at financially and anything else involved in that. So kind of assorted things, and I've been recruiting with Cal State Fullerton for 16 years. My role has changed a little bit. I don't recruit as much now. I have, just last year, those duties have kind of gone away, but other things have come about. And been with iDay for the last 6 years, so since its inception, and I'm very close with Dr. Lou, which is great. She's a great advocate for the students, and it's somebody, if you don't know who Dr. Lou is, get to know who Dr. Lou is, because she will help you advance your career. She's a good person having your corner. I'll go ahead and go.
Definitely.
Janice.
Yeah, so I'm not Laura Johnson. So actually, I won't tell you when I graduated, but many moons ago, I actually graduated from the other CSUF. That was Fresno, as opposed to Fullerton. But I was a business degree. And I've been with Marsh. We're the largest insurance broker. I've been with Marsh for 25 years. I like to tell people I started when I was 12. You can kind of do
Child labor.
Yeah, child labor. But we're an insurance broker, and you know, when you think about insurance, most people are going, oh, shouldn't we be selling life insurance, or I'm going to try and peddle life insurance to my family members or not. Insurance is very diverse. Everybody needs insurance, be it, property and casualty, workers' compensation, life insurance, you name it, auto, home, everything. Everybody always needs insurance. It's an industry that's not going to go away. People aren't going to all of a sudden stop buying insurance. So there's always opportunities. And I'm going to be so bold as to throw out a number. I know personally companies, first job out of college without a lot of experience, people are making $40,000 to $60,000 a year. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, that's way more. That's multiples of what I made when I first got a graduate. So there is definitely money, and there's a lot of opportunities. So many different divisions, departments, industries you can go to. It's endless. And make the most, this young woman here, make the most of the services that this school provides. My son is he's part of this program, and I'm so impressed with all the resources. Take advantage of all the resources. Their tuition pays for it. They can help you with their resumes, internships. There's so many opportunities. Get a paid internship on top of that. Back in the days when we used to have internships, you learned, but you didn't get paid.
It was like slave labor.
Yeah, exactly. So you actually get paid to learn a job. It looks very impressive on your resume. If you're a junior or senior, you need to have internships on your resume. I mean, these are all things that they offer. Take advantage of it. I can't say anything.
Internship is a great way to network also, because you get a lot of industry exposure. So,
Exactly.
and sometimes you get a job where you're interning. So
Yeah.
sometimes it works out.
You never know something. Anyway. There you go.
We're ready. Thank you all. Nope, segued into the next
about
question
Leah?
perfectly.
You want to know about Leah?
She's actually here on behalf of Center for Insurance Studies, so she's going to speak at the end
Okay.
for her
All right.
choosing.
All right.
I think she's also coordinating logistics with Laura, waiting for her to come. So kind of segueing to the next question, it is about networking. So how has networking played a role in your career? What recommendations do you have for students who are just starting to get into that networking piece?
It's huge. Yeah, so there's a group, it's called EIP, Emerging Insurance Professionals, and it's all social. There's a table out there, you can meet the people, and they do fun stuff. They meet at Dave & Buster's. It's not like workshops, it's all networking. And you start meeting people within the industry, you start talking to them, ask them questions, have a business card. My son was a freshman, he had a business card. I'm like, what do you need a business card for? It was like for networking. I'm like, really? But there are so many networking opportunities, because even though insurance is big, it's a small industry of who you know. And
It is.
Start getting to know people, start networking, because that person can help you find an internship or a job, or it's amazing,
Exactly.
right?
And we do the same thing when we sit on these panels and we go out to these job fairs. We've seen people for years. Hey, how are you? How are the kids? And we network that way. And so if we ever have an issue or we need another job, it's great for us too.
Exactly.
Or you
So
have friends that need jobs. Hey, let me give somebody a call. So it's so important to always put your best foot forward. And I like to throw out the Facebook and things like that. Really be careful what you post. It is so important these days, and it's worth saying. I know most employers have a social networking policy, and they're getting stricter and stricter. So remember, people are looking at that, and they judge you by what they see on those Facebook pages. So it's important. I mean, especially since you're coming to an age when you are looking for a career. It is kind of the mom thing in me is just watch out. I know my son's school has a no tolerance policy. They are off their teams if they post something and it's not it's derogatory towards the school or derogatory towards them. So think about those things before you post. I know it's fun to do and it's fun to get out there and network, but sometimes bad publicity is not a good thing. So.
Yeah, and I would say don't be intimidated by networking or think it has to be something super formalized. It's just talk to everyone you meet. What do you do? How did you get into that career? How did you get into that industry? Because knowledge is power, and knowing people, and even if you might not be looking for a job right now, you may be in the future, or you can help out someone else you know. And so just talk to people, ask questions. And just a story about myself, how networking and I guess, keeping bridges and connections alive. I said I worked on the East Coast. When I moved out to California and I was looking for a position, one of the VPs that I worked at in Rhode Island had actually moved out here to California and was working at AAA. And I wouldn't have known about this opportunity if I hadn't kept in touch. And it's completely across the country. So it's definitely worth staying in touch with people and keeping those connections open.
Awesome. So talking about that transition from the classroom to career, what would you say is the most challenging part? And what would you say is the one lesson you've learned in that transition?
I've got a thought.
Go ahead, go with it, I don't have one yet, I'm still waiting for it to come.
One of the things that I'm hearing more and more from employers, be it from the academia to, the corporate world, it has to do with commitment and punctuality.
Oh, I was gonna bring that up, the functionality part.
You know, if you have to be there at 8, I suggest you be there at 7:50. No later, no earlier. Don't be there at 8 or 8:05, 8:15, God forbid, 8:30.
Yes.
You know what, you're getting paid for it. It's not a nonprofit. You're getting paid for it. It shows that you are interested, you are committed. That is huge. I don't want to put all of you into a pot, but
But you're in those rooms somewhere.
take it seriously. That's one of the things I have to say. And the other thing too is regarding commitment. So my son said that they did something at the CSUF conferment a couple weekends ago, and they asked a survey of the millennials, what is the average tenure of how long someone stays at a company or first job? Anybody have an idea what the average is? 6 months? Average?
Year?
A year? Okay, anybody else?
4 years.
4 years, yeah, okay. So back in the old days, it used to be 3 to 5 years, maybe even 10 years. It's 11 months.
You guys.
11 months, less than a year, but this is the thought process, okay? Their thought process is, the 11 months I was there, I was committed. It was not so much the time frame, but it was the 11 months I was committed to that employer. I mean, it's very, very interesting to see how things are going to progress. And that's not just insurance, that's industry, I think industry-wide. So it'll be interesting to see how things will play out and how committed people will be. But so that's kind of my point. Being committed and then also the punctuality, I think it's huge.
I am so glad you brought up the punctuality.
It's such a small thing, isn't it?
Oh, it is. But it's such a problem, because part of my job is we have to write up, people get written up for those things and they lose their job, and it's just so stupid to lose your job because you're 10 minutes late every day to work, right? Isn't that kind of a dumb reason to lose a job? And it's horrible, and it's constant, and people are really, your bosses, they want you there, and it's so important. I did want to bring up something. I just read an article recently in the upcoming years about people that are going to get jobs and what's important. A lot of you guys are techie, and a lot of people, I sit there and I watch people, and they're sitting there eating lunch with people, and they're texting someone else. It happens at my work. I'm like, I don't text a whole lot. But I'm like, are you guys texting each other? Who are you guys talking? I mean, you got people sitting right next to you. Do you not? Employers love people that have that technology, but think about it. They also like to have social skills. So it's important to also have, right? So it's important. You're like a complete package to them if you can still talk to people and still have fun, right? Right? So, I mean, your social skills are something that are good to practice and be a part of. It's great to have that techie and have the phone and everything and be able to do all that stuff, but that additional skill of being able to talk to people and make connections and network and do all those things is so important, and it's starting to be lost. I was just reading an article about that, and they're not sure which way employers are going to go, if they're going to go just for the techie and forget about the social part, but if you have both your complete package, what a find you are, you know, right? Right? So that's where I'm going to stop, and Carly, I'll let you take over from here.
That's a great point. When I started recruiting, I was hiring for claims, and it was we teach the insurance part. We wanted the communication skills and the
Right.
social skills, interpersonal skills. And I just always assumed it was that type of position. And then I went into IT recruiting, and these are very high level technical positions. All the companies I was hiring for still wanted those communication skills. So
And they're hard to find in IT.
oh, extremely hard. You know, it was finding a needle in a haystack, and that's why they were paying us to find them for them. But it's so important across every position. So just keep that in mind. And I think I just want to touch on about transitioning into a full-time position. You know, learning doesn't stop when you have a job, and I think that's one of the things really important to remember when you start your first position. You don't know where your career is going to go, and don't be closed-minded. You always need to be learning and getting involved in things in the workplace and networking outside of work as well, because you don't know where that'll take you. I majored in insurance. I never thought I'd be in recruiting, and I am now, but just remember to be open to those opportunities. It's still important, just as it was in school, to be learning and getting involved with things.
Segueing into that job seeker component of it, what would you say are the most common mistakes that job seekers make, and what are your resume pet peeves?
I don't like a lot of cologne. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Fair enough.
It's important for you people to know you don't need to squirt 25 things of we smell you. But you know, not everybody tells you these things. But,
Really
you know,
a
it's kind of
couple
more of a lighthearted, but you know, that's important. It's important.
Very true.
There's other things, but I'll let people go and talk. And
That's a good one. That's a
Yeah,
good
that's
one.
an
On the
important
flip
one.
side, the perfume,
Yeah.
cologne.
Perfume, cologne, yes.
Exactly. It's all the
yes,
same.
a little goes a long way. That's all I'm saying. People, a little goes a long way.
The other thing is, a lot is to be said about your body posture.
I'm all leaned back. I have a job.
You know, look like you're interested. Sit up. Have proper posture. This is kind of more like if you have like your second job or another job. Never badmouth your prior employer. That is like one of the worst, because if you're in the same industry, it goes, so if you leave the company that you're currently interviewing with, and then do they think you're going to be bad-mouthing them? So be professional. If they ask you a specific question, answer it, or why things didn't work out, that's one thing. But don't sit there. I get a lot of people who just go on and on and on. And it's just
My
like,
manager,
yeah.
let me tell you about her.
Right. It's not very professional.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Yeah, they
So,
won't hear it.
and then there was another part.
Resume pet peeves.
Resume pet peeves. Okay, definitely do not lie. Do not lie. Do not lie about your graduation, your major, your GPA. Don't lie about anything, because guess what? Employers check. Employers check. And we have not hired people because, what they did was they put down they made more money than they said they did. And so when we verified,
And we'll ask for your tax refund. We'll ask for your tax papers.
and
See
so
what you
then
made.
they'll be like, oh, well, you know, my friend told me to do that because I wanted to make more money. Okay, if you lie before you even get the job, so no matter what, don't lie, don't embellish, be truthful on your resume. Have internships, have in hopefully maybe the field that you're interested in. If it's not, at least have some work experience. That's very important. I think it's very important when you're looking at resumes. So there's that.
I was going to throw out too. It's important to know about the company and the job you're applying for.
Yeah.
I get so many people sitting for me and I'm all, do you know anything about that? No. How about the company? Nah. What do you do? Why are you applying here? Why are you here? My mom wanted me to get a job. I get that a lot. You get that? I need to get out of the house.
And don't have your moms call us either, because we don't want to talk to them when you don't get the job.
Parents call. Yeah.
We do.
So uncomfortable.
Tell them.
No, we do.
Okay.
We do. Yeah, it's,
I've never had that.
oh, I have.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good. But anyways, it's important, you know, you can come in and say, you know what, I heard this about the casualty that's represented, I've heard this about, you know, ask questions about our Mercury's, you know, I looked up, you guys are in the age of the internet, for heaven's sakes, you can pick up the phone and you could tell me 10 things about my company right now, you know, if I gave you a minute and a half. So it's easy to find. Back in our day, it wasn't easy to find information. No, it really wasn't. It was. We didn't have all those things. But anyway, so go in there, just do a little bit of research about the company, know what the stock prices are, know what they specialize in, knows what makes them important, and be able to spit that out, you know, and
Right, or
share
ask
that.
questions specifically
Exactly.
about the company, the division position, the job. Tell me about, I mean, they're interviewing you, but you need to be interviewing them. Is this really truly a company you want to work for? So tell me about what my day would look like as an underwriter for Mercury or a claims adjuster or whatever. Have them convince you that, you know what, this is the company that you would like to work for. That's what Lisa, that's important.
As far as the resume goes, one of my pet peeves are the fluff. When you put things, just kind of fluffy stuff that's not really about your experience on there, it makes it look like you're just filling up the page. So, you know, I'll get a lot of resumes with just lists of skills. So someone saying I'm a people person, I'm detail oriented, I'm motivated. Everyone says those same things. So when you're just filling up your resume with words like that, there's not much content there. Sometimes I'll even take a resume, you know, delete all the coursework, delete all the fluff words, and see what I have left. And you know, sometimes it's just a little bit.
No.
Yeah. So really, you know, those skills are great, but everyone can just sit here and say they have them. Show how you have them through your experiences. And you know, you do need to have things like internships on your resume. If you don't have an internship, are you working? Are you involved in anything on campus? Don't just be a member of a club. Try to get a position, because all of those skills will be transferable into the workplace. But you want to show on your resume what you did while you were in school and those skills. We all went to school too. Yes, class is time consuming and you have a lot of studying to do, but you also have a lot of free time. So show me what you were doing, and don't let me think that you were just sitting there watching Law and Order all day.
And it doesn't matter if it's Yogurtland or if you're somewhere else. It shows
Right.
responsibility that you can hold a job and you can handle cash. You can do those people skills. So any of those jobs, there's nothing wrong with any job out there. Just get one and learn that.
And don't think it's not important. And because I've met students who just won't put it on their resume because they'll say it was just Yogurtland, but I'm sure you learned skills there that you're going to be able to use in the future.
Any questions so far? Go ahead.
One question I was wondering is that I have a resume and I have work experience from like 5 to 6 years ago. But should I still include that on my resume if it's like within like a time frame?
I
At
would,
what
definitely.
point?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like 5 years ago you forgot everything that you learned at that job, I would think, right?
And we background check past 10 years, so.
I would just be careful with too much high school. You know, if you're graduating college, you were here for 4 years, you should have something to show for it. I don't want to know that, you know, freshman year of high school, you played lacrosse. I mean, at that point, it's kind of a while ago.
Exactly.
Any other questions?
You were saying how don't lie on your resume.
Yes.
So say for example, I mean, you can know the language and stuff. Like, to what point do you have to know the language to be able to put it on your resume?
Well, I think you can pick a word that's, you know, proficient is a good word, you know.
Conversational.
Conversational, so you can kind of, well, I think we could probably go over to the career center over here. And
Come
they can
visit
kind of
us,
you with
we'll
that.
help you with that.
Go ask her. But you know, you could probably help them out with that. Hey, I'm looking for the right word, so I'm not embellishing too much. But you know, conversational is a lot different than being proficient. So I mean,
Conversational works if you're fluent, is it oral or is it written?
Exactly.
It's a lot of these things that I'm sure are triggering as you hear what they don't want to see. It really comes down to individuality, you know, to what extent do you as an individual have that skill or that ability for you to prove to them that you can work that ability, right? And that's where your resources come in handy, because it's very easy to generalize and say, well, we want to show that you have the skills and you can prove that you've got the skills. Okay, great, but for you that might mean something completely different than for you over there, right? So definitely think about it. It's one of those things where just because you hear, well, we don't want to see this, we don't want to see this, okay, great. You're still not going to get an automatic answer. It's still going to come down to you thinking about your own experiences as an individual and figuring out, okay, where does my relevancy lie in that? And that's what they're looking for. I mean, truth be told, at the end of the day, you're probably looking for authenticity, right? And that probably goes far more than anything else.
Right.
And you need to be able to speak to what you have on your resume. You know, just being familiar with something or knowing what something is and putting it down, that doesn't mean that you know it. You know, for example, I came across that a lot in IT. Someone would put they know Java, and then they'd tell me, I'd ask them questions. They say, oh, well, I know what it is, but I've never actually worked with it. Well, then why is it on your resume?
I get it at Starbucks every morning.
So just really think about it. You know, if you have something on there, if someone starts asking you questions, are you going to be able to answer them about it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Question?
Oh, yeah, no, I just wanted to comment on what Dana was saying about background information on companies. I got offered an internship with PepsiCo, and the person that interviewed me clearly told me that the reason they offered me the internship was because of all the background information I reiterated to him when he said, "Do you have any questions or anything?" I said, "No, I just wanted to verify some stuff with you." And he said, "What?" And I go, "Is this who your CEO is, your vice president? Is it true that the company started in this year, and is your stock price at that price?" He looked at me and he goes, "Really? You know all that?" And I said, "Yeah."
It is impressive, and I get a lot of people that aren't, in our company, we have a lot of our managers interview, so they're not experienced interviewers, but they're really stuck on that. Well, they didn't know anything about the company. I don't have as big of an issue about that because I'm asking other questions. I know what to do with your answers, but a lot of people, it's very important to them. So very good point. You know, like you got a job because of that. It doesn't take long, right?
Yep.
And you can have it, we don't care if you have it written down. Bring your little portfolio and look down and have questions written down, because as soon as, it's like being a doctor. As soon as you take off your clothes, you don't know what you're going to say, and you don't know what they're saying anymore. I mean, it's the same. An interview is the same way, right? I mean, it's the same thing, you know. I know what I'm doing because I've been doing it a long time, but if I have to sit in front of someone else, I'm like, So write it down. I'm not going to knock you down on points because you're prepared and you have questions ready to ask me, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. You know, don't have it in a crappy old folder. I mean, have a nice little, spend a little bit, get a nice little portfolio and zip it, look professional.
Don't
have
pull
it
your
on your
resume
phone.
or in your pocket. People pull resumes
Roll
out
up
of
your
their
notes.
pocket.
Hold on, let me look.
Perfect. So talking about career paths a little bit, what does an entry-level career look like within each of your organizations, and what advice do you have for these students to find jobs in your organizations?
I guess I'll start on this one. Right now, we've typically in the past have always hired with a 4-year degree. It's been into our claims position or our underwriting positions. The economy has changed that a little bit. We do a lot more promotion from within into those positions for the 4-year degree positions. So a lot of our college graduates are coming into like fire and theft, into some of our lower level positions. And for you guys, it's being open to be able to take a job that doesn't pay quite as much as it used to 5 or 6 years ago, and working your way up the ladder. So that's a little bit different for us. The jobs are typically Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:45. They're paying about $17, $18, $19, $20 an hour, depending on what job you're getting into. They have full benefits. We're very casual at our company. We wear jeans every day, t-shirts. So, I mean, it's a really nice atmosphere. It's close to home. Weekends are off. So it's that type of thing. But that's what our jobs look like. And they take a lot of customer service. We're very big on customer service. We are trying to move ourselves up the J.D. Powers rankings. We haven't always been the best ranking, but that's important to us. So we're working on that. So it's having the ability to talk to people and network and be able to talk to our customers and make that a good experience for them, because they are our customers and we need to keep on selling. We are not a charitable organization. We're for profit. And keeping our customers is that part of that. So when we're interviewing, hiring people, we're looking for people that can keep that relationship with our customers. And even if they're not our customers or our claimants, somebody that our customer hit. You know, sometimes we bring them over to the dark side or over to us, which is nice. You know, we pull them away and they join us, which is nice. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And we also have the IT positions and things like that, but those are our most, like something that would be best suited to you guys.
Yeah, our claims position is where we hire a lot right out of school. It's a position we're hiring for pretty often, and what we're looking for there is the communication and customer service again, because same thing, you know, we all want to beat each other on the J.D. Power Award.
We do.
So that's really what we look for that position. For us, we train you, so you know, you don't have to have worked in insurance before. We're going to teach you that, but we can't really teach you to, you know, be able to talk to people and not be up on a log. So that's what's really important for us. And, you know, there's a definite career path upward within claims within our company. You know, either more advanced levels or management or operations team or training and development, all within claims still. And one of the things about the Auto Club that I always like to point out is that, you know, we have this insurance piece of it, but we also have, you know, our travel and our roadside assistance. So it lends to quite a few opportunities within the club to move up.
So for our company at Marsh, we take a little bit different stance. So we do a test run, so to speak. So we are interested in our summer, we call it tracker program. For the summer, it's an internship, paid internship. And so that happens the summer you are going to be a senior. Okay, so the end of your junior year, you apply. You do the summer internship. It's for the entire summer. if we like you and you like us and we make you an offer, that means when your senior year, we'll make you an offer before, in the fall. So if you accept, you'll have the job when you graduate, so you don't have to look for a job. And it's a mutual thing. One, you're interested in us, and we are interested in you to make the offer. So we've test drove you, so to speak, for about 3 months to see if it's going to be a fit. And so when you do join the program, it's a rotation. It's actually a 2-year rotation. And so you'll spend 1 year in one department and 1 year in another department. And then from there you decide on which department within our company. We're a very big company. We're a Fortune 500 company. Where you want to fit within the organization. So you get to kind of test run the different departments. And so that's kind of how we've got excellent benefits. We're insurance brokers, so we've got plenty of insurance. I mean, I happen to have pet insurance in the company, so you name it, we have insurance. So benefits are great. The 401k, the whole 9 yards.
If you have a pet, you need insurance, let me tell you.
Yeah.
They're more expensive than kids.
Yeah, that's true. So the last question I have for you all is, once an individual gets hired into your organization, how do they make themselves stand out? Or how can they make themselves stand out?
A couple different ways. Going above and beyond. That seems so simple, but there's so many people who aren't willing to do it, or they're able to do it, but they're not willing to do it. Put in that extra time. If there's a project, volunteer to do and help out other people. I think with every company, there's always either departments or divisions that are either drowning or need extra help, or, you know, help out, be willing to learn, be inquisitive, ask questions, show an interest. I mean, that sounds really kind of basic. There's a lot of times people don't do that. The other thing too that I think is really important, if the company that you work for has a formal or informal mentorship program, I think can be huge, because within my career I've had a couple individuals who have been my mentors who have really, really helped me be promoted within the company and give me ideas of things that I should be doing, and just helpful suggestions that has really helped me. I think that's really important. Some companies have it on a formalized basis, and others are kind of more informal. Just meet with someone over lunch and just kind of talk about how things are going. It's a good thing to have a mentor.
And it's funny you should mention this question, because at our company we're kind of restructuring our focal reviews, the reviews of our employees. In the last 50 years, we tend to be really generous. You're an exceed, you're an outstanding, you're exceeds, outstanding, and there's way too many. And it's just not a good thing, because not everybody exceeds and outstanding. So we're bringing people down and knocking them down to where they really should be, which is they're performing well, which is what most people are doing. So to get an outstanding, there's so many things that have to happen, because it shouldn't be every fourth person is outstanding. I mean, there really aren't. In this room, there's probably one person that's outstanding, which would make sense. It can't be every person in here. So it really is, like you were saying, it's going up and beyond. It's finding that opportunity to do something with our customers, to think about a way of streamlining our business, to doing those things, to make yourself stand out. And that doesn't mean to be the person that nobody can stand because you're always, selling yourself. It's, exactly.
There has to be a fine balance between the person who is stepping over other people and brown nosing to them.
Exactly.
There's that whole, which irritates everyone.
Exactly,
right?
and it's really, and that's another piece of the puzzle that we've added in this year. Our company has decided that behaviors are very important, which they've always been important to me, but I don't know that they've always been important to the company. And so you get a lot of people that have been moved up the ladder, and they're not very nice people. You guys all know what I'm talking about. You all have somebody in your life. They're brilliant, but they're really not. They're kind of jerks. So I mean, it's as simple as that. So we've kind of said as a company, this is so important to us. We're going to assign 25% of your overall score as an employee to this, and I think that will be going up in the future. But you not only have to be technically strong, but you have to be a good person, and you have to look at our core values, and you have to act upon our core values, which is so important because it's more than just stepping over everyone. It's not like the movie Wall Street or any of those movies where people just walk over each other and become millionaires, and I'm sure that still happens, but it's also being a good person, be able to help other people, being able to kind of have that fine balance that you were talking about. So that's part of being outstanding, is to be able to have those behaviors intact and also have that technical ability and be able to use those together to move forward, so.
Yeah, and like we said, that's what we're looking for when we're hiring people. That's who we
Exactly.
want working for us too. And, you know, to continue learning and realize that there's things that you can learn from everyone that you work with. So really building those relationships and seeing where you can improve, because there's always room for improvement. You don't want to just become complacent in your position. Keep learning and be open-minded to what else is within the company. And I think that's definitely one of the things that has made people successful at our company.
Thank you. Any questions?
So these companies that are here are, do you guys have already this infrastructure inside your companies? We are talking about training people to be better people person.
Yes.
Or are you looking for people to help to develop your
It's funny you should ask that question.
That's important.
We look for those, like you said, we recruit for that. That's part of our recruiting process, is we try to look for people that exhibit the behaviors that are core values. So we have 5 primary core values. But we've also looked and said, you know, we have all these people that don't always act this way. And we've allowed it for years. It's been something that's been a part of our culture. And we're trying to do a culture shift right now where we've said, hey, being a good person and doing the right thing is very important to us. So yes, we're putting together classes. All of our management went through a leadership training. And it was a huge time commitment. It was 2 days per session. And so overall it was a 10-day commitment, 10 8-hour days that they had to go to classes and they had to learn. We brought in an outside company. And and it's constantly being reinforced. And now we're putting our supervisors through this program also. A little bit, not quite as much of a time commitment, but we're trying to teach them also. So we're giving them the tools to do the right thing and to be that. And we feel that if it starts at the top, it rolls down. I mean, our executives, our managers, our leaders have to act a certain way for our lower level employees to be able to see that as an example and be able to act the same way. So it has to come from the top down. So that our CEO actually went through the same training. He committed 10 days of his life last year to go through that, and we all went through it too. So, which is a big deal because you don't usually hear that. And he was at every class, and he shows up at every class that graduates and talks to them and lets them know how important this is. And we get a picture with him and the whole deal. But you know, which is it's a huge time commitment for a CEO of a large company to be able to say, this is important enough to me to be able to show up and congratulate you and to do this myself. So, I don't know. That's kind of where we are with that.
Do you check the students' GPA, and if so, what are the minimum requirements?
Do you check the student's GPA, and if so, what are the minimum requirements?
Yeah,
We don't. We used to. We don't anymore.
that doesn't mean stop studying, but,
It doesn't.
but no, we don't.
But
check
it's
GPA.
not, I think at a company like at the levels we're hiring for, not quite as important, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try hard when you're in school. And we don't want to have you come, you need to graduate and have decent grades. But are we calling up the schools and asking for GPAs? No, we did years ago. When I was hired, we had to have a minimum GPA, but we don't do that anymore.
I think we still request transcripts.
Yes.
Confirmation that
Yes.
you actually have your degree.
Degree.
Right.
But
Internship, maybe, or talking about hiring?
Hiring.
hiring.
And I think the one thing to remember with that, and I'll get you in a second, is to keep yourself well-rounded. It's always about balance. So, you know, you hear a lot about they're looking for communication, they're looking for soft skills. It really just comes down to balancing it. So, you know, we have a lot of students come into our office and they're very strong academically, but they don't have a lot of experience, right? So we work with them to leverage the academics to say, okay, in your academic coursework, where have you developed the skills that you can then transfer over to a career? Vice versa, we might have a student that's come in that's not doing well academically for whatever reason, but it might be because they're working a full-time job through college. They have a lot of experience. So then we work to leverage that person's experience to say, okay, again, how can we make it so that the skills that they're looking for, we can pull out from that individual based on the experiences that they have. So again, goes back to being an individual first and foremost and understanding your own awareness of what you bring to that employer table and comparing it to what they're looking for, and let's see how we can work together to match that up.
Very well said.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I think a question that I have, so the recruiting process has happened now for you guys, and you brought in a group of people you interviewed, and now you've sort of narrowed it down to, let's say, 2 or 3 candidates. Let's say those 2 or 3 candidates have the characteristics you're looking for. They're smart, they're social, they have good customer service skills, and they all graduated from college. What narrows that one person you're going to pick down a little bit more?
Good question.
It could be your job experience. It could be looking at that experience. It is actually really a hard question because we don't really it's almost impossible to answer.
Right, because there's so many different
Different variables, yeah.
Okay.
There really is, and you know, I don't know.
Would that first
Yeah.
impression, that first time you meet them, be something that would definitely?
It can be, it really is. You know, typically, I'll know within the first 30 seconds of meeting you, you know, but if you're gonna be a right fit, and if I'll go on the interview, and I try to, as an interviewer, I've been doing it so many years, I push away that first instinct, because it's not always right, and I wanna give you an opportunity to sell yourself, because sometimes first impressions aren't the best, and oftentimes, you know, people prove me wrong, because I'm able to kind of push that away and say, okay, I'm open to hearing what you have to say, and I'll ask appropriate questions so that you can sell yourself to me.
Thanks.
Along those lines, you know, the mock interviews,
Mhm.
do it. The more you do it, the more you practice. If you do it in front of a mirror, or if you do it with the folks over here, they'll ask you the questions. It's okay to have a, what we call a pregnant pause. You don't have to constantly be filling up the, you know, think about what you want to say. But the more you practice, the more comfortable you will become. And it'll become almost second nature, so you're not like feeling like you're gonna sweat the whole time. You're just be like, oh,
Yeah, some of those
wait,
poor
they asked a
people, I'm like, oh
question,
my God.
It's like, I'll try to break the ice and just say, you know what, there's no right answer. So, you know,
Exactly.
whatever you have is what you want to say.
I'm
but
also,
you're-
take a second, think about that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm fine with that. I'm gonna catch up on my notes. Go ahead and think about that last question. We can come back to it. So
Right.
you're
But
more.
the more you practice, the more you'll be comfortable and know how to answer the questions and know what the questions are going to be. But the more you practice, the better you'll get, just like anything else, right?
And practicing in your head isn't the same as saying things out loud.
Right.
I mean, sometimes I say awesome things in my head. Yeah, and then they come out.
I'm like, oh my God.
So practice out loud. It's awkward, but it'll be worth it.
But
in
the mock
end.
interviews help with that, practicing out loud
Absolutely.
for sure.
You'd rather mess up in a mock interview than when a job's on the line.
And just another little pitch, if you're nervous about actually practicing with someone, even though you should, there is a service that we offer through the University Career Center called Interview Stream. And what that is if you've got a webcam, you record yourself. So there's pre-populated videos of individuals asking interview questions through a video, and you record yourself answering those questions, and you can see yourself. So that's in the privacy of your own home. If you don't want anyone to see it first, that's probably a first step. Then come in and do the practice interview with us. You definitely do want to practice for someone, but if you want to take it a notch below that one. Well, with that, I do want to thank all the panelists for being here. I think they've got definitely a few minutes to stick around and network, but I wanted to make sure I had time for Leah to talk a little bit about the Center for Insurance Studies and how that kind of fits into this grand scheme of things.
Okay, thank you, Hema. How many people know about Center for Insurance Studies? Okay, we got the ones with the blue shirts. Yeah, there we go.
Everybody else who was here for free.
Okay, just a quick ad for the center. It's been in existence for roughly 16 years. Dr. Liu heads it up, and like was said earlier, if you do not know Dr. Liu, you should get to know Dr. Liu. If you are interested in having a career in insurance, there are many ways. Like Jenna said, you don't have to sell life insurance. There's a lot of ways you can be an underwriter. You can be a loss control person, claims rep. Those two, you get a car with it. You could be a premium auditor. I'll let you think about that one for a while. You get a car with that too. You can be an underwriter commercial. In commercial, you can be an entertainment underwriter. Inland marine, ocean cargo. You can be standard lines, which means you would insure buildings like this and the hotel across the street and, you know, the restaurant. You could be specialty lines. We have a couple of specialty lines companies here. Wholesalers also. Specialty lines are what we in the standard market, I spent a lot of time, more time than I would admit to as an underwriter. I was also a premium auditor, so there's...
You got a car?
I got a car, had a car, yeah.
Cars are a big deal.
It is a big deal.
company
It is a
car.
big
It
deal.
was awesome.
You know, because if you get a car, just a little blurb for that, they take care of the insurance, they take care of the maintenance. All you have to do is pay for your personal usage. Some of them charge you, you know, a certain amount each month or by the miles. So you have to keep track of personal versus, you know, how much for business.
It's really inexpensive.
You know, but it's a lot better than fooling with your own car because something goes wrong, you go, hey, car needs a new tire. I need new tires. You know, I need this, I need that. It's
Oil
time for an oil change. Yeah. You don't have to fool with it. They just take care of it for you. But anyways, there are many areas you can go into other than just, yeah, I gotta sell life insurance, you know. I know when you go to a party and you say, hey, I'm in insurance, they look at you like you've just sprouted a second arm right here. But the insurance is a very interesting field. It really is. Everybody's got to have insurance. So I'm hoping that a lot of you will decide to major in insurance. What I do at the center, I'm a career advisor. So I work in conjunction with HEMA. And the companies will send me internships available. They will send me full-time jobs available, say for graduates. Look at the Center for Insurance Studies website. If you get to the front page, look on the right-hand side, you'll see internships available. You'll see full-time positions available. If anybody needs help with maybe what that loss control, try and figure out what that loss control person does for an insurance company. It is a commercial, mainly a commercial position. You can make an appointment. I'm at the center 3 days a week, afternoons only, 1 to 5, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If for some reason you cannot make it there, let me know. Send an email or just leave a note there. I can maybe arrange another time. Does everybody know where the center is? Okay, 4280 Mahela Hall. Okay. Hopefully you will come by. I can help you with resumes. We could have a mock interview. You know, basically an interview is just you talking. You're just talking. Yeah, it's an important talk, but you're just talking. Two people talking. So, you know, sometimes that'll help you. You just take a deep breath, you know, and just talk. But if you want to come in and see me, please, you know, just let me know and we'll set up an appointment. Or you can just walk in. If you know I'm there, you know, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just walk in. I'm usually sitting right there. You cannot miss me because you're coming straight at me. So, any questions about the center? Yes?
Actually, does the center actually assist with like training for like preparation for the broker exam for like the property casualty? Do you know if you guys offer services like that?
Did somebody plant you in here with a question? What I'm actually working on, I not only do the career advising, I do continuing education. So what we are working on, hopefully next spring, is to have licensing available. So if somebody is interested in being a broker, you will already be licensed because we will be able to give you that course. You can take the exam. It's a 52-hour course, but it will be incorporated in with your regular studies. We're also working with the CPCU, Chartered Property Casualty Underwriter Society, whereby if you take a couple of the insurance courses, it will waive 2 of your CPCU exams. That's a biggie because the CPCU is 8 exams. So if you've already waived 2, and like you had the question, okay, say 2 people are equal when they walk in, and if I was doing the hiring and you know they were equal except he had 2 CPCUs, you didn't have any, I'd start looking at him going, he took the time, like she said, take the time, continue your education, take the time to do over and above, do something extra. Any other questions?
One of the other things, Leah, that you did not speak about regarding CIS, 2 things, scholarships.
Oh, yes.
It's huge. So Center of Insurance Services has so many scholarships available. They have a whole separate, I guess the business school has one, right?
The award ceremony, yes.
Ceremony. The Center of Insurance Services gives out so many different scholarships. They have their own.
It's a separate award ceremony because we took up so much of the School of Business time giving out scholarships that for the last few years, we have our own separate award ceremony next door at the Marriott.
You know,
There's like close to $80,000 every year given out. So if you need a scholarship.
Are you guys writing this down? You should be.
It's like free money, right? So
yeah.
And so many different companies. So find out what they are, because I think isn't there they're pretty much just like one application, and then they divvy it up. And
I know we give a scholarship every year.
Yeah.
So.
And usually
even
what
CPCU gives a scholarship.
Yeah, exactly. So
you don't have to be insurance students. A lot of it is
No.
based on your college career. So academics, extracurricular. There's probably, I think there's one standard application and you're eligible for all those different ones.
So talk to Leah about that. And then the one other thing I want to make a point is Center of Insurance Services, I know through the Insurance Fraternity GIS, they pay for different symposiums and things. Like for instance, my son went to North Carolina. He went to Philadelphia, and he just came back from Dallas. And those were all trips that I didn't have to pay for. Woo-hoo! Yeah, I'm like, whoo, that's a good thing. But Center of Insurance Services pay for the flight, the hotel. So there's definitely opportunities out there. Just reach out and find them because it's all great. It's all
Have
great.
you heard about GIS? Anybody? Yeah.
They have
They've
a
got
lot
a
of
table.
speakers and that type of thing. So more networking, you know, workshops, things like that.
It's the insurance fraternity. They meet, correct me if I'm wrong, every Tuesday evening over in Student Union, Hedabrink, 4:30 to 5:30. Great opportunity to network. So even if you're not sure, you know, you think, I don't know if I want to do that, go to one of the meetings. Check it out.
Check it out. Never hurts.
All right, I know
Thank
we're
you.
getting close to the
Thank you.
12:30. Again, I want to thank you all for coming here. I wanted to leave a few minutes just in case anyone wanted to come up and use your network to start networking with people that you meet. Thank you all for being here, and let's give a round of applause for them.